We at Wealthy Millennial want to help inspire, educate, and motivate you to make the best financial decisions possible. With our straightforward, no bullshit approach, we aim to simplify the complex world of personal finance for the millennial mind. Food is damn expensive, and with the impact of environmental changes, tighter production regulations, and fewer government subsidies, the cost is only going up. It's one of those areas of the budget that can be pretty tough to cut back on, and sometimes you might not even be willing to. If you're like me, you consider a clean diet, and in turn, a higher grocery bill, an investment in your health. At the same time, when you notice your bill slowly growing year over year, and your portion sizes becoming smaller and smaller, it's not unusual to start looking for ways to save. In this episode, we'll go over how doing weekly meal prep can cut your food costs by more than 20% and save you hours in front of the stove, how eating seasonally will not only cut your bills, but provide you with more nutrient-dense produce, and how observing unit price will paint a more accurate picture when comparing products. Weekly meal prep. Boom! You had to know this was coming. Planning your meals a week in advance and preparing them will save you not only on your grocery bill, but also in eating out. You'll be less likely to impulse buy when you're shopping, and way less likely to forget something because of your neatly organized list. This will keep you from stopping in midweek and watching your $5 ingredient turn into a $30 snack fest. By having all of your meals prepared and ready to eat, it will help you from the dreaded, "What do you want for dinner tonight?" which almost always leads to an order of pizza and wings, let's be honest. Another huge advantage is the fact that you'll know exactly what you need to purchase for the week ahead, cutting back on wasted food. Finally, you'll be absolutely amazed at how much time it saves you as well. Let's be real, time is the most valuable commodity. What's a non-prep week break down to? Assuming you spend 20 minutes every morning putting together a breakfast and lunch, plus an hour each night whipping yourself up some dinner, you're looking at 6 hours a week spent in the kitchen. I average 2.5 to 3 hours on Sunday to prep all 5 breakfasts, lunches, and dinners for the week ahead, a savings of 2 hours. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You're probably thinking I'm lying to you right now. I mean, how the hell can someone prepare 15 separate meals in 3 hours? Well, I don't. I actually only prep 6. What I like to do is choose 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and 2 dinner recipes, and then alternate them throughout the week. It gives me a little bit of variety and saves me cook time in the kitchen. A couple of other bonuses to make this process save you even more is to check your grocery store's flyers and plan your meals around what meats and veggies are on sale. Also, don't forget to give your fridge, freezer, and pantry a good once-over before you start planning. Taking inventory of what you've already got will save you a little extra at the store and reduce waste. Plan and prep takes too long. So I completely understand where you're coming from when you say planning your meals, making your grocery list, and prepping everything just takes too much time. All in, the process is probably going to set you back about 5 hours, and after a long weekend of partying, or more likely, Netflix binge watching, it's the last thing you want to do. Although you can't get out of shopping and preparing your meals, you can't avoid the whole planning process. How do you ask? $5 dinners. Erin Chase is the creator of this amazing website that offers weekly meal plans. She writes up the recipes and shopping lists for each week of the month and only charges $5. Seriously can't beat this. I'm a big fan of her program and have used it for the better part of 2 years. Rockin' shopping apps. As always, when it comes to pretty well any problem you have, there's an app for it. In fact, there are a whole load of apps for saving you money at the grocery store. I personally haven't tried all that many, but the few I've found I use regularly and totally love. Flip. This is a digital version of those flyers you get crammed in on your Friday newspaper. It works by showing you all the best deals at each of the stores and gives you the option to jump from place to place to nab the best deal or simply compare who's got the lowest price. An added bonus with this app is if you shop at a store that does price matching, simply open the app, show the deals at other stores, and your grocer will have to give you the best deal. It also gives you the chance to find the best deals and plan your meals around those deals. You can sit down on a Sunday, pop open the app, and map out the following week's recipes without having to rifle through a stack of recyclables. Check out 51. This app offers rebates on items you can find at your local grocery store, anywhere from 50 cents to $5 off. It seems to be more geared toward non-perishable items like cereal, granola bars, and coffee, but you can also find things like milk and yogurt. I like to try and pair the items in Checkout 51 with what my grocery store already has on sale. By stacking the two, your savings can really add up. In fact, there have been times where I've gotten the item for free. Be sure to compare the generic brand price to the Checkout 51 rebate price. They only ever deal with brand name products, and sometimes, even after the rebate, you'll still end up paying more. Also, be sure not to get sucked into buying something just because it's in the app. I've found myself adding way too many things to my cart thinking I'm saving money, when in reality, I'm just spending more than what I would have without the app. Buy seasonally. This one's big. I mean really big. If you tend to have a particular eating style or go-to meals, you'll find yourself purchasing the same things year-round. Normally this wouldn't be an issue, but because you're now buying berries, peppers, and eggplants in winter, you'll be forking out a fair amount more than when you were mid-August. None of these items can grow here in Canada at that time, meaning all of this produce is coming from other countries. Expect to see virtually no sales on these items and a slight hike in their original price to accommodate for transportation costs. To find a breakdown of all the foods you should eat for each month of the year, head on over to wealthofmillennial.net. Just a few extras. There are still loads of other ways to save, but I don't want to bore you, so I'll quickly mention some of them with a brief description. Go no name. Choosing the generic brand can save you a couple bucks every time you shop. Most grocery stores have their own brands. Fortino's has President's Choice, and Sobeys has Selections. These brands taste pretty well the exact same, have very little difference with ingredients, but generally cost about 15 to 20% less. If you absolutely love your Skippy peanut butter and aren't willing to switch it up, then just stick with the essentials. Things like frozen items, berries and veggies, and staples like flour, sugar, cooking oil, and butter. 9 out of 10 times, it's the exact same product on both the branded and generic. Keep an eye on sales, as sometimes you can get your branded favorites for less than their generic counterparts. Pay in cash. By keeping the exact amount of money you have budgeted for groceries in your wallet, you will prevent yourself from impulse spending. If you walk into a store with your debit and credit card, there's really nothing stopping you from throwing in a couple bags of chips, a box of cookies, and those ice cream cones you really love. Leave the plastic at home and just bring the cash you've allocated to your food spending for the week. It's easy to say no to all of these last-minute add-ons when you quite literally don't have enough to afford them. Familiarize yourself with store layout. Have a good idea of where everything is in your favorite store. By knowing exactly where to go to get exactly what you need, you'll spend less time wandering the aisles and have less opportunity to add in things you probably don't need. Look high and low. This was a shocker for me. Apparently, companies paid top dollar to have their products placed at eye level on the shelves of a store, which makes sense when you consider it. If something is eye level, it's more likely to be the first thing that you see, increasing the likelihood of you buying it. By shifting your sight a little higher or lower, you'll find the products that didn't pay large to be placed front and center. Because of their more affordable real estate, many of these will pass their savings on to you. Mic drop. Crock-pot freezer meals. This one goes hand in hand with the meal prep section at the beginning of this episode, only this one saves you even more time. Simply search for crock-pot freezer meals and you'll find loads of different recipes. The sweet thing about a lot of these plans is that they consider the full use of each ingredient, meaning you're not left with half a can of crushed tomatoes that's just going to get chucked. Spend a couple hours on Sunday to throw together 8 to 12 of these puppies by tossing each of the ingredients into a freezer bag, labeling the front of the bag with the specific cooking instructions, and then toss them in the freezer. All you've got to do is take the bag out of the freezer and throw the contents in a slow cooker for an almost completely hands-off dinner that was relatively cheap. The time savings you get from these meals is huge. It took Jess and I 2 hours to throw together 8 of these meals. If you break that down, it comes out to only 15 minutes per prep time per meal. Totally worth giving this one a shot. Check unit price, not listed price. What the heck is unit price? If what you're buying is priced by the pound, gram, or ounce, this is your unit price. Simply comparing one box of crackers to another isn't the most accurate measurement, as oftentimes products are packaged at different weights. Figuring out how much you're paying per pound or gram is a much more accurate representation of how much bang you're getting for your buck. Hitting the grocery store is usually a pretty big hit to your wallet. Thankfully, with some of the ideas mentioned above, it doesn't have to be. Although each tip won't save you a whole lot in itself, combining these practices and making it a regular thing will save you large in the long haul. So get planning, scan your flyers, set your budget, and watch your grocery bills slowly decline. As always, you can head on over to wealthmillennial.net/blog to read the full article with all the links and resources mentioned. If you enjoyed this episode, please share the love. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends and family. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook at Wealth and Millennial. The more millennials we can help when it comes to personal finance, the better off we'll all be.
This has been an Evoke Media podcast.